Happy Friday, you guys. I'm probably recording right now. I really don't care. So Elementary came on last night. It was called Rat Races, and by the preview, it looked like something happened to Sherlock, and I suppose it did in a way, because they said it in the preview. Said he was missing, and he did end up missing, but it wasn't until you didn't find out how he became missing or until towards the end of the episode, because I went back to a couple days ago, and then they got a case, because the COO of this company, all of them in the past year, 2 of them died unexpectedly, and they thought, when they were doing the investigation of the new CEO that died, someone staged it to make it look like that he had OD'd on heroin, uncooked heroin, and that wasn't the case at all. I can even tell before Sherlock even found out himself. He deduced it himself that this was staged, and you could tell the way his hand was barely touching the syringe. It was just stuck in his arm where he would have chewed up, and then there was a little bit of heroin sitting on the table next to him, because the CEO was laying in a chair, and Watson was worried about Sherlock because he hadn't been near drugs in a while. And as you know, in the pilot episode, the premise of Watson and Holmes in this version of Sherlock Holmes' life is he's a recovering drug addict who had a problem that made him go to heavy into drugs. And he was because he was going to tell her something at the crime scene, and so when they got home, she asked him, she's like, "You're going to say something, what was it?" He was like, "I forgot what the smell of heroin was, I forgot how it smells." And so I was like, oh my god, I hope he doesn't relapse. Not that something smell like that could make someone relapse, but if you were in it heavy enough, I think you could. I don't know anything really about drugs, because I have never done them. Don't want to. I have family that have, but no, I don't really know much about it. And then they found out basically towards the end, when they kept going on and on, that the secretary of the COO was actually the person who was killing these people by peanut oil in their salad that they got from this very, very prestigious restaurant, which the good chef prepared himself, and they were trying to frame him for the second murder that happened a couple months back, but that wasn't true. And then they found out that, and then Sherlock got the new salad from the new guy who looked like he OD'd, tested, and it turned out it had the same thing in it, peanut oil, which is kind of a weird thing to have in a salad, I think, because I don't know all the fancy different kind of sauces, dressing that they use, but I use basic stuff. But and then Sherlock, he was looking through some of the Emmy reports and stuff and things, because first he thought it was one of the head executives who had brought the case to him, because they asked him to consult, but it turned out that was a lie, because when he looked at the report the man gave him, the man came to Sherlock's house while he was eating. I don't know what he was eating, but and he asked him, he gave him the report and was like, "I might be a suspect, you might think I did it, but I didn't, because I was in surgery that day." He had liposuction, which was kind of weird. And he looked at it later on when he was getting aggravated, because he knew that the killer was still out there and someone else could get murdered. and then he saw her name written as the emergency contact. And so he went and tracked her down while Watson was not, well, she had started dating because her best friend had blindly set her up with this guy named Aaron. And he turned out to be married, but not a real marriage. It was a green card marriage because something happened in the city or whatever, where the woman who's his wife, but not really his wife, too, and her family got shot, so she needed to stay in the country. And so because he worked in some kind of company with that, and so I don't know. She found out he was lying to her because Sherlock looked it up on this website, some marital website where you can find out if people are married just by typing in their name. And if she found out it was, and she said before he even looked it up, she's like, I feel like he was lying to me about something when we were talking about have we ever been married. And he's like, well, let's see. She's like, no, I don't want to know that. He's like, well, you did the first step into reducing, and it's a hard road to just ignore things when you know that they're wrong. And so Charlie looked it up, and he was like, wait, no. He's like, no, he's not. No, yes, he is married. And then he asked her to come meet him again, and that's when Sherlock went to find that lady. The lady, first it didn't look like she was gonna do anything because she wasn't confessing anything. Then he followed her to the car park, and he was like telling her basically everything that she had done. Of course she knew it, and then she she tasered him, and he fell. And then she put him in the car, and that's where you saw him in the beginning of the episode, where he looked very uncomfortable, he was shifting, he had his legs like tied on, I forgot what those things are called, and he had his wrist handcuffed. In another episode, you saw him when he was at his house, his flat or his apartment. He was learning how to undo handcuffs, and so the lady really didn't see it coming when she went to take him to the house of the current executive or whatever, who Sherlock thought did it at the beginning, and she was gonna kill him. She tried to make him dig on the grave after he got his handcuffs. Like he was trying to get him out, but he almost got it out right when she was like, she's like, dig your own grave. He was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Just like, oh, fine, I'll do it, because it doesn't need to be that deep anyway. They need to find her body or whatever. She's like, I'll put in an anonymous tip. And she texted Joan, because Joan had texted Sherlock to ask him was he okay, because she had texted him like 5 times. She's like, she does that. She doesn't really leave me alone. And then what happened? The way she typed back, it wasn't as Sherlock was texting earlier. He used a lot of acronyms that made no sense at all. And one of them was "see you soon." And the way the woman typed as Sherlock, she wrote the whole thing out. Where earlier in the episode, he wrote SYUS. I think that was, or it was SYYS or something like that. And so that gave Joan a clue that wasn't Sherlock. He was actually in trouble. And they traced his phone, and yeah, they got the lady. Like, he had hit her. He pushed her. I think he tasered her. I can't remember. I think he might have took the taser from her and tasered her, and she fell to the ground. And that's when the officers got there. Because she was like, what are they doing here? She's like, I don't know, or something like that. He's like, he tried to play it off like he didn't know, but he was glad. And then when Joan and him, when he got released, when the medics had checked him all out, she came over there and was like, so you're trying to take credit for my deduction and knowing that you're in trouble? He's like, well, it's a club, because they were arguing about it. And then he was like, I like the ending though a lot. oh wait, no. There's this part. She was like, you need to talk to Gregson, like the captain in NYPD, because she had to tell him about Sherlock's drug problems and that she was his companion to oversee his recovery. And I first thought there's something bad was gonna happen. It turned out he knew, like Sherlock went to go meet him. I guess it was a little while later at the office, and he and Gregson was like, I knew all along. I don't just research. I do my homework too. You may be a consulting detective, but I do know I do my job. He's like, yeah, you're above average intelligence. And so it was a very sweet moment, actually, the way he's like, I'll keep it hidden for everyone else. It was just between you and Watson. And so it was very sweet. And then that was for that. It's actually a pretty good episode. I liked it a lot, actually, because you didn't really know how it was gonna go. Well, you did, but I watch a lot of crime shows, so I know when things are obvious or when they're not obvious. Well, I didn't really see it be the secretary, honestly. I actually thought it would be the new COO, or the guy who was going to try and be the COO, but it didn't end up being that way. It was actually the opposite. The one you least suspect, the secretary, who helped him in the beginning. But it was really good, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Excuse me. I'm gonna go write things, and if I ever start watching Sons of Anarchy, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Anarchy, on Netflix, I will see you later. Bye.